chosen ones listen carefully. They don't like you, but they're always watching. That's not confusion, that's obsession hiding behind denial. Ever seen a wildfire? It doesn't try to get attention, it just takes it. That's you. Wherever you show up, something shifts. The energy, the air, the mood. You walk in quiet, but it's like something loud just entered the room. That's not normal, and deep down you've always known it. People sense your presence before you even speak. They feel it like electricity before a lightning strike. They talk about you when you're not around. They twist your words, watch your movements like it's their full-time job. And the wild part? They can't stop themselves. You became the center of every conversation the second you stopped needing their approval. Let's make something clear. Science shows the human brain remembers people who make them feel something, good or bad, way more than those who done OT. So if someone keeps repeating your name, bringing you up, keeping tabs on you, you stirred something deep inside them. Maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's regret, could be fear, but it left a mark. You lit a fire in their mind, and now they can't blow it out. That's why your name moves through rooms like it's trending, up or down, doesn't matter. They're still talking. They can't let it go. So thank you for being exactly who you are. And if this message hits your spirit, help it reach others too. Like the video, subscribe to the mission, because this light isn't tea for one person, it is for everyone who is part of the change. Now let's get back to what matters. You're not being talked about because you're loud. You're talked about because you're different. And different always makes noise. When people don't get you, they make up stories to fill in the gaps. When they can't match your energy, they find ways to tear it down. When they can't stand next to you, they act like they built what you've got. That is just what happens when you stand out in a world that pushes everyone to blend in. Back when you were quiet, healing, minding your own space, no one paid attention. But now that you're glowing, you've got their full focus, like moths to a flame. Those whispers you hear, not accidents. That feeling of being watched, it's real. People always observe what they're scared of, or what they secretly wish they could be. That's why your name shows up in places you've never stepped into. It's not hate they're throwing, it's desire, wrapped in disguise. They want in. But they're trying to sneak through gossip instead of growth. And if you really look at it, you'll see how strange it is. They act like you're too much, then keep your name in their mouth like you're not enough. That back and forth, that's your proof. Proof that you're shaking things up just by showing up. You didn't beg for attention. You didn't scream for the spotlight. You simply lived. You healed. You kept going even when it hurt. And still, you became the center of it all. That's not luck. That's your impact. There's actually a name for this in psychology: social mirroring. People reflect what they focus on the most. So if you keep showing up in their words, in their actions, in their stories, you're their mirror. You remind them of the things they've lost, the person they never had the guts to become, the mask they've been wearing. You're not the bad one in their life story. You're the truth they keep trying to avoid. No wonder they keep talking. Silence would force them to face themselves. But what really stings them the most? You didn't fall apart. You didn't run after them. You didn't try to explain yourself. While they were dragging your name, you were turning your pain into power. You kept building. You kept rising. You kept becoming. And that's the part that really hits them. They were not just talking about you. They're watching you evolve. That's louder than any rumor they can throw. Let's keep it real. Most people bringing up your name aren't doing it out of hate. They're doing it because they can't keep up. You're not just chosen, you're a reminder of everything fake around them. Your energy calls out the truth in a room full of lies. Your progress shows them how stuck they are. Your strength reminds them of what they gave up on. And instead of working on themselves, they obsess over you. Ever noticed how insecure people always need someone to talk about? Someone to pick apart? That makes them feel big for a second. But behind that fake tough talk is fear. Fear that you've become something they never could. Let's be honest, if someone can't stop mentioning you, you're either a lesson they can't learn or an obsession they can't let go. Either way, you already won. So when you feel the eyes, when you hear the whispers, when the energy feels off, don't shrink, expand, don't go quiet, get even clearer. Let them talk, let them guess, let them gather, because your existence alone shifts the atmosphere. You don't wait for permission. You walk in and flip the whole script without even trying, and yes, you're the topic. But remember, that means you're ahead. That's what it looks like to lead. That's what standing out really brings. You're not imagining this. You're not arrogant. You're just aware. Aware of the fire inside you, a glow that can't be copied. They feel it even when you're silent, especially when you're silent. You're the one who kept going. The one who made it through, the one who healed in the dark and showed up bright without saying a word. And now they can't stop talking, not because you're loud, but because your energy speaks for itself. That's the chosen one's power. So keep your chin up, walk with peace, let the noise float around you like wind. That's just more proof your energy can echo without sound. Because once you really understand that being the topic is just part of being unforgettable, you stop worrying about being liked, and you start owning what you've become. Now breathe for a second, because by the time this message is done, you wonder just know why they keep talking. You'll understand why they'll never stop. And if you're still here, chosen one, it's because you feel it. That pressure of being seen, that tension from being talked about. You didn't land here by accident. You're the reason they can't stop whispering. So before we break this down further, show you're fully tapped in. Drop 77 in the comments if you're tired of questioning why your name always ends up in their mouths. And if you feel this message speaks your truth, show love to the mission. Every small thank you, every bit of support helps keep this light moving forward. Because this message, it's not for everyone, it's for you. Let's get into it. First reason, you're the mirror, the kind they can't crack without facing themselves first. They say they hate you, but it's not about you. It's about the truth you carry. You didn't wreck their image, their own mask did. The second your energy stepped into the room, it exposed everything fake they'd been building for years, and they couldn't handle it. That's what they're really avoiding. It's not your presence they hate, it's the reflection they see when you walk by. You didn't start drama, you didn't throw shade, you just existed. And suddenly, everything in their world felt shaky. Why? Because when something real shows up, the fake gets nervous. You're not out here being rude, you're just being real, and that's enough to shake people who've lived in lies. They'd rather break the mirror than fix the flaws it shows. That is why you are always in the middle of their stories, because the truth in you doesn't bend, doesn't hide, and definitely doesn't apologize. When you walk in, people feel seen. Not in the soft way, in the hard way. You pull out their insecurities without lifting a finger. That's not ego, that's raw energy. And your energy? It's too solid for people who only know surface level. You're not dramatic, they're just sensitive to your peace. You're not doing anything wrong. Your calm just shakes up their chaos. You're not exposing them. They're unraveling on their own. It's like you walk in with quiet truth wrapped in skin, and suddenly the whole room changes. That feeling, that drop in comfort, that's their cover slipping off, and you've probably wondered, why me? Why do they act like that when I haven't done a thing? Here's the raw answer. You're the test they keep failing. You became everything they couldn't. You carry a piece they can't touch. You stand for everything they ran away from. That's why the gossip is loud. That's why your name shows up in rooms you've never even seen. You don't need to force light. You are the light. And for people who've lived too long in the dark, your light burns. But that's not your fault. It's your responsibility to stay lit. You weren't born to dim, so others can pretend to feel comfortable in their fake lives. So when they look, when they talk, when they make circles of conversation around your name, remember this. They're not reacting to something you did. They're reacting to who you are. And truth Truth is always the loudest thing in any room, even when it says nothing. Keep walking. Let them feel it. Let them mumble. Let them analyze. Because no matter how loud they get, they can deblock what you stand for. A life they didn't have the strength to live. Second thing, you are proof that excuses are just lies dressed up pretty. They call it luck, so they done and have to admit they just didn't work as hard. You didn't get here by accident. You didn't stumble into greatness. You fought. While they were finding reasons to wait, you were moving forward. And now that you've built something real, they can't stand it. Not because you hurt them, but because you showed them it was always possible. They told themselves only a lucky few make it. But you proved that anyone with fight in their chest can rise. Picture this. They're stuck in the mud, pointing at the sky saying only birds fly. Then you walk past, bleeding, bruised, but flying anyway. That's what hurts them. You flew without wings. You made a way with nothing. You kept going when everything said stop. And now they twist your story because the truth makes them uncomfortable. They'll say you had help, that someone pulled strings, that your path was handed to you. But deep down, they know. They know you bled for every step. You are living proof that pain doesn't stop the chosen ones. It sharpens them. Dear chosen ones, your love inspires us to create meaningful content just for you. If our efforts have touched your heart, you can show your support by clicking the Super Thanks button on your YouTube screen. Every bit of your kindness means the world to us and keeps us going. Thank you for being the amazing support system that you are. Now back to the topic. They're mad because you became something they can't figure out. You didn't just break the usual pattern. You became something they can copy no matter how hard they try. They've been watching you like you're some kind of manual, like if they stare long enough, they'll finally unlock how you move with so much calm and quiet power. But here's what they don't get. There is no code to crack. You weren't made with instructions. You were made through pressure, through fire, through things they'd never survive. Trying to understand you is like trying to read a map written in a language they've never learned. That's how they feel when they look at you. Frustrated, lost, angry, you move in your own way, you don't chase applause, you don't need a stage, you shine without needing anyone to see it, you rebuild in silence, you grow in chaos. And that kind of peace, it's not fake. That's what really gets to them. They're looking for the trick, the shortcut, the weak spot, but they won't find one, because being real doesn't have a formula. It's not something you can copy and paste. They keep asking themselves, how are you not burnt out? How do you keep showing up strong? Why do people listen to you even when you say very little? And the answer is simple and hard at the same time. You're not faking it. You're not made up of other people's energy. You're solid, even when you're still healing. You move with something real, purpose. They might steal the way you dress, the way you speak, maybe even try to act like you, but they can't copy what's underneath. That's why it never feels the same. So they start labeling you with words like too deep, too serious, and too intense. But really, you're just too real for the fake surface they're used to. They want your calm without going through your storms. They want your wisdom without carrying your pain. They want your strength, but not the struggle that shaped it. So let them talk. Let them copy what they can't connect with. They might try to act like you, but they'll never be you. Because you're not some easy guidebook. You're more like a warning label. Only people who've been through their own fire will understand how to read you. You don't fit into their systems, and that's why you short-circuit them. The moment you step in, everything shifts, because you don't play along. You don't pretend. You don't shake hands just because it's expected. Most systems run on quiet betrayal, fake compliments, fake peace, fake friendships. People go along with it because it's easy. But you won't sell your standards for approval. That's why your presence is explosive to people who live on lies. Think of it like this: a building full of messed up wires, and everyone's flipping the same switch pretending everything works fine. Then you show up, hit a different switch, not to destroy the place, but to reveal what's wrong. Now sparks are flying, the lights flicker, and suddenly people are panicking. That's the chaos you bring just by being honest. You didn't create the mess. You just exposed it. They start talking about you the moment the illusion starts falling apart. They say you're confrontational, they call you arrogant, but the truth is, you just said what they've all been avoiding. You didn't start drama. You just stopped playing the fake game. And now, because you won't stay silent, they have to choose. Either fix things or keep pretending. That kind of pressure, it scares them. So instead of taking accountability, they try to make you the bad guy. You're not out here trying to bring anyone down. You're just not letting your energy be stolen anymore. You're not letting systems take your dignity. You're interrupting manipulation. And when people can't hide behind their fake politeness, they lash out. That's why the rumors start. That's why they start telling different versions of the story. Because if they admitted you were right, they'd have to change. Remember this, disruption always comes before change. Most people would rather live in quiet misery than deal with uncomfortable truth. That's why being real looks aggressive to them. But it's not aggression. It's just truth showing up in a place that never expected it. So stay strong, let them talk, let them run in circles. You're not here to keep the fake systems alive. You're here to make the truth visible. Let the sparks fly. Let the dust clear. And when the smoke is gone, the lights that are still on, that's who you helped stay alive. They whisper about you because they can't control you anymore. When they realize they can't pull your strings, they start using their words. Not because what they're saying is true, but because that's all they have left. Let's call it like it is. They're mad that you're free. You don't fall for guilt trips. You don't change yourself just because someone flatters you. You don't bend when they try to pressure you. And that eats at them, because the little mind games they used to play, they don't work on you anymore, and that hurts their pride. So now they go to plan B, control the story. Since they can't control you, they control the way people talk about you. It's like trying to play chess with someone who refuses to play by their rules. That's how they feel dealing with you. You don't move how they want you to. You don't respond to their fake apologies. You don't chase their approval. You've accepted that not everyone will like you, and that makes you unstoppable. They don't want you silent, they want you obedient. And when you refuse, they go off. They'll call your peace coldness. They'll say your boundaries are a bad attitude. They'll twist your confidence into ego. Your truth becomes drama in their mouth. But deep down, they know what it is. It's power. Power they can't touch. You broke the strings. They hate that they can't move you anymore. You ever notice the people talking the loudest about you are the ones who lost access? When they thought they had control, they were quiet. But the moment you stopped playing their game, your name became the headline in their group chats. They don't miss you. They miss having leverage over you. Now they try to fill that empty space with fake stories. Here's what they'll never say out loud. Your freedom makes them feel powerless. Every time you walk away, stay silent or say no, they lose another piece of their fake control. So let them talk. Let them lie. Let them twist it however they want. You weren't made to be handled, reshaped, or kept small. You were made to walk free. And in a world that feeds on control, your freedom is dangerous. Your silence, it rattles insecure people. When you stop responding, they call it pride. When you're calm, they say you think you're better. But the truth is, your peace looks like pride to those who haven't earned it. You don't have to scream to be powerful. You don't need attention to feel seen. You're not performing anymore. And that's what they can't stand. You're not out here proving anything. And the second you stop chasing approval, they couldn't figure you out. What people can't figure out, they fear. What they can't control, they label. You're not cold, you're just still. And in a room full of noise, stillness stands out. Picture this. Everyone around you is busy shouting, showing off, trying to be noticed. And you're just sitting there, steady, quiet, strong, and somehow you still pull all the attention. That's the kind of presence you carry. You're not trying to compete for energy. You are the energy. But what they don't see is what it took to get there. They don't know about the sleepless nights, the pain, the times you cried in silence. They don't know about the struggle you carried by yourself. So when they see you're calm now, they think it was handed to you. But it wasn't. They think you're proud when really you're just at peace. They think you're distant, but really you've just outgrown the noise. You didn't shut down, you leveled up. There's a big difference. But people who are still battling their own chaos love to twist your strength into arrogance. Your boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. You're not cutting people off, you're protecting your peace. But people who aren't used to peace will always say your calm is pride. Let them say it. If your silence feels loud, maybe it's just showing them how noisy their world is. You've earned your peace. Let it speak for itself. It says more than their performance ever will. You're also proof that being aligned with yourself is more powerful than being liked. You didn't work your way up by following their rules. You didn't play nice to be picked. You didn't change who you were just to fit in. You didn't wait for permission to rise. You aligned with who you really are, and that's what made everything click. You didn't climb the ladder they built. You built your own path. And now they're mad because your way worked better than theirs. They danced for approval. You stood still and got noticed anyway. Think about how wild that is. Most people are taught they have to beg, struggle, or trade their soul to make it. And here you come, walking in full of purpose and presence. No mask, no games, and people still see you. That messes with them. Because if your path worked, that means theirs might be a waste. You're the evidence that alignment works. That you don't need 100 people clapping for you. You just need to stop saying no to yourself. That kind of clarity, they can't fake it. So they call it luck. They call it ego. But deep down, they know you didn't just rise. You elevated. You didn't get chosen by them. You were chosen from the start. And people who spent their whole life trying to be picked can't stand that you got here by being real. Because if being real is enough, then everything they've done, all the performance, all the fake connections, it means nothing. So let them shade you. Let them lie about your story. You don't need them to get it. You just need to keep walking. Real success doesn't beg for understanding, it speaks for itself. And you've already been seen. They can't block you because they're still drawn to you. They say they're done with you, but they're watching everything you do. That's not hate. That's obsession wearing a mask. They talk like they don't care. They act like you're old news. But if you watch closely, they're always checking, always paying attention. They hate that they feel pulled to your energy. But they are. It's not something they can copy. Your energy is something they can feel but not hold. You walk in and the energy shifts. They might roll their eyes, but their body tightens, their mask slips. Something about you reminds them of something they lost or never had. Courage, truth, life. You bring a frequency they can't create, so they settle for staying close just to feel it. You're like a signal surrounded by static. They tune in, even if they don't admit it. They try to mock what they don't understand. They try to copy what they can't reach, but it never feels the same. And even as they talk down on you, they're watching. They say you're too much, but they never stop mentioning you. They call you fake, but they copy your style. That's not hate. That's hidden admiration they'll never say out loud. You're the signal they can produce, even if they tried to sell everything they had. You stay in their thoughts, not because you're loud, but because you left an impact. You remind them of the courage they couldn't claim. And every time they see you, that truth hits harder than anything they say behind your back. So let them keep orbiting. Let them keep pretending. You don't need their approval. They need your energy, just to remember what real feels like. If you feel this stirring inside you, drop 77 in the comments now. Let every other chosen one know that the shift has begun. Stay tuned, because what comes next will shake you to your core. Your name is the escape they run to when their own pain gets too loud. You're not the solution to their problems, but you've become the distraction they use to avoid dealing with them. When the silence gets too heavy and the truth starts creeping in, they grab your name like a quick fix. They don't bring you up because you truly matter to them. They bring you up because it helps them forget themselves, even if it's just for a moment. You've become their go-to excuse, their emotional detour. Every time things get real, they pick your name like a button to press, just to avoid facing their own reflection. You didn't ask to play this role. You didn't agree to be the character in their mess. But somehow, you ended up living in their head. Unpaid, unwanted, unforgettable. They point fingers at you because it's easier than being honest with themselves. It takes courage to admit you're the one holding yourself back. And most people don't have that kind of courage. Imagine feeling so emotionally drained that tearing apart someone else's life feels like the only way to feel strong. That's where they are. You're not their problem. You're just the excuse they keep recycling. Life keeps handing them mirrors, but they keep flipping them around to reflect your face instead. Your name gives them something to focus on that isn't real responsibility. It doesn't fix anything, but it buys them time. Time away from owning their choices, time away from healing, time away from growing up. They're not talking about you because they're invested in your life. They're talking about you because it keeps them from investing in their own. Your growth, your success, your peace. It's easier to talk about you than to actually grow. So let them keep spinning their stories. Let them waste energy analyzing your steps. You're moving forward while they're stuck, pressing pause on their progress, using your name as the cover. The longer they talk, the longer they stay frozen. Meanwhile, you're still rising, still glowing, still evolving. And at the end of the day, you'll be healed and thriving while they're stuck in the same place, using your name like a broken bandage that never did anything in the first place. You're the chapter they never had the guts to start. They didn't lose because life was too hard. They lost because they never even began. The life you've built, that was their dream too. The one they talked about but never moved on. You became the version of themselves they couldn't become. You took the leap they never had the nerve to try. You went forward with nothing, no support, no guarantees, just faith in yourself. And that, right there, shattered everything they believed about what's possible. That's not just scary. It's heartbreaking for someone who quit before even starting. You're not just a reminder. You're the evidence. Proof that the life they imagined wasn't out of reach. They were just too afraid to reach for it. So now, instead of facing that regret, they rewrite your story. They'll say you got lucky, that you changed, that you're fake now. But all of that? It's just them trying to protect their pride. It's easier to say you sold out than admit they never even showed up. They'll call you arrogant because that's easier than saying, I was scared. They'll act like you cheated, like you skipped steps. But the truth is, you built your life from the ground up while they waited for perfect timing that never came. They kept saying, not yet, and you just said, now. You moved forward with no map, and that courage makes their hesitation impossible to ignore. They've been staring at a blank page, scared to start, waiting for safety, while you went ahead and wrote the whole story. Messy, bold, real. That kind of courage messes people up, because now the problem isn't the world, it's them. You are the dream they gave up on, the reality they could have had. And that stings, so they spin your story into something they can deal with. If they can paint you as reckless, maybe they don't have to admit they stayed stuck. But no matter what they say, they can't erase what you lived. No rumor changes what you walked through. You earned every line of your journey. And now, they have to live, knowing you finished the story they never dared to begin. You cracked the silence they swore would never break. When you spoke out about what everyone else ignored, they didn't hear courage. They heard betrayal. You didn't destroy peace. You destroyed the performance. They had this whole unspoken deal. Don't talk, don't change, don't question anything. Keep the silence so the illusion stays intact. But you broke the script. You stopped playing along. You chose truth over fake peace. You didn't make noise to cause drama. You just refused to keep pretending. And that alone turned their world upside down. What they called peace, you saw as hiding. What they called tradition, you saw as avoidance. The moment you said, I'm not doing this anymore, the mask fell. You didn't throw a bomb into the room. You just stopped being quiet. That alone felt like an attack to them, because the rule was always the same: stay silent, stay small. But you chose healing. You chose evolution. And that choice, even in silence, broke the fake contract they were all trying to live by. You said the truth out loud, and suddenly you became the target. Not the dysfunction, not the lies, not the pain they were hiding. You. Just for calling it what it is. You didn't hurt anyone, you just stopped hurting in secret. And the ones who needed you to stay quiet, they're the ones screaming now. But let them react, let them spin the story, because when you chose truth, you gave others permission to do the same. And nothing they say can take that back. You weren't made to play along. You were made to break the cycle, and that's exactly what you did. They don't hate your glow, they hate that you turned it on. They were fine with you being quiet, small, unsure, but the moment you started standing tall, speaking up, owning your light, they couldn't take it. You refused to shrink. You realized real humility doesn't mean hiding. It doesn't mean staying silent so others can feel better. It doesn't mean folding in half to let someone else stretch. You gave yourself permission to shine. And that kind of self-acceptance, that shook them. They were used to people dimming down. They were taught that being humble meant being invisible. But you showed up full force, and that scared them, not because you were loud, but because you were real. You exposed fake humility for what it is, fear in disguise. And when you did that, people who were still hiding got uncomfortable. You didn't come in shouting your worth. You just refused to bury it. And that made the ones still performing feel exposed. They flinched, not because of your words, but because your presence was too honest to ignore. You're the only one in the room with the lights fully on. Everyone else is still playing with dimmers, and every time you step forward in confidence, they label it as too much. But what they're really saying is, I wish I could live like that. They want what you have, but they're scared to go first. So instead they whisper, they stare, they shrink. Your light wasn't meant to be hidden. It was meant to wake others up. Some people will hate that. Others will be inspired. Either way, your job isn't to dim. It's to shine. Because being real about who you are isn't arrogance. It's power. And you didn't make it this far to go invisible now. You're the survivor they can't explain away. You weren't supposed to get back up. The fall was supposed to end you, but it didn't. You kept moving, breathing, rising, and now everything they believed about strength is falling apart. They watched you lose, get betrayed, be lied on. They saw you suffer. They counted you out. But you didn't fold, and that right there, that breaks their system. Because if someone like you, someone who went through all of that, can still win, then what's their excuse? They don't doubt that you're strong. They just doubt that they could have handled what you did. That's what really gets to them. They needed you broken so they could keep believing in their own excuses. Your comeback ruined their comfort. You proved that healing is real, that pain doesn't have to be permanent, that the story doesn't end in suffering unless you let it. So now they tell themselves you're faking it, that you're hiding something, that you must have cheated. Because if you're really okay, then maybe they never needed to stay stuck. And that truth is too much to face. You didn't just survive, you came back stronger, and that kind of strength can't be faked. They saw you take losses and still keep walking. They saw you get counted out and still return louder, even in silence. They can't believe you're okay because they know they wouldn't be. So let them guess, let them wonder. Let them sit in disbelief while you keep glowing. You are the proof that some people don't break. They bend, they rise, they shine, and your existence alone is the truth they can't erase. You're the glitch in their system, the proof that real power doesn't follow their rules. You didn't follow their script. You didn't walk the same road. You didn't do what they said you had to do to make it. Yet here you are, thriving, shining, winning. That scares them, because your success says something very uncomfortable, that maybe everything they believed was required wasn't. You didn't need their approval. You didn't need their blueprint. You made your own, And now their whole structure feels shaky. They played the game. You moved with purpose. They waited for permission. You walked without asking, and somehow you still ended up ahead. That's not supposed to happen, but it did. So now they talk. Not because you're wrong, but because you show them that maybe they are. You're not fighting them. You're not even focused on them. But your existence shakes everything they thought was solid. Your peace shows how fake theirs is. Your light reveals the games they play. And that's why the whispers never stop. Let them keep labeling you. Let them keep spinning it. Because you were never made to fit. You were made to break through. You didn't need a seat at their table. You brought your own. You didn't wait to be chosen. You were already marked for this. And you didn't walk alone for nothing. You walked alone until the world had no choice but to notice. If you're still here, chosen one, then you already know. Your presence is powerful. Your journey is rare. Your energy is unforgettable. And the fact that they're still watching, still talking, still doubting, that's just more proof that you were never like them. You were always different. And that difference is your power. So keep walking with your head high. Keep glowing in your own lane. You're not the topic because you tried to be. You're the topic because you couldn't be ignored. If this today's message resonates with your spirit, write 77 in the comments below and declare your readiness. This is your moment to show your strength, not just to yourself, but to the world. So, my beloved chosen family, your love inspires us to create meaningful content just for you. If our efforts have touched your heart, you can show your support by clicking the Super Thanks button on your YouTube screen. Every bit of your kindness means the world to us and keeps us going. Thank you for being the amazing support system that you are. We're forever grateful for your love and encouragement. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.